Hi, I'm just recording a video here for this program I've been making. Sort of like a chemical program where you can sort of create particles and molecules by placing it down, and then if you input enough energy, and if you input the correct correct um, properties for the environment, so you give you put in the required pressure and the temperature, then you can actually watch sort of like a chemical reaction unfold. Um, and so I thought. While I'm making this, I might as well record myself. But so far, I've written about 600 lines. I thought I'd make this first video just to show what I've done so far. You know, obviously, I didn't expect many people to watch it, but I thought it'd be fun to show what I'm doing. And yeah, I think it's interesting. Um, so you might be wondering why I've chosen to do it on Python. And to be honest, I wonder about myself as well. Seeing how it really wasn't the best choice. Originally, I wanted to create this program um, in a what's it called? In what's it? In a studio, yeah, in Unity, for example. Um, and so, really, once you learn a programming language, it's not hard to learn another language. You just have to learn different syntaxes. The actual theory is pretty much the same. The thing is that I could never learn C sharp because I could never get it to work on VS Code. Yeah, looking at it from now, I could have just used another thing. But for some reason, VS Code is really the most anti-user friendly program out there. I mean, it's really fucking hard to get something to work if it's broken. I'm really not an expert on it. And the weirdest thing would happen when I tried to create simple programs. In fact, I would just copy and paste programs, code that should work, and it wouldn't even run properly. It's a whole mess, and then I never got it sorted out, so I couldn't learn C sharp, and so there was really no point of me even trying to do it on Unity. And second, um, the fact is that I don't have enough space for these sort of um, these sort of programs. Unity, Godot. Unity is about 40 gigabytes. I'm working on a pretty shitty laptop. It's not shitty. It's all right. It's just it's getting old, and I don't have enough space. I've got lots of stuff on my computer, so um, take up space. I really don't have space for a whole fucking code engine. Without further ado, is just get into the code. So I'm using Pygame, obviously. Yeah, it's called DirtyDesk. Really, the only reason it's called DirtyDesk was because a lot of names are taken. I originally wanted to call it Labs because it's sort of like a lab, you create particles and stuff, but that's a really, you know, that sort of stuff. It's definitely copyrighted, and a website for it is just not possible. Labs.com, labs.co.uk, none are available or they're all either expensive. I started on Dirty Desk because in my program they open up. I'm gonna have to not censor, blur the terminal each time I open it up because it shows my file directories and stuff. So I'm not going to open up that much. Um, yeah, here we go. Um, so the reason I settled on Dirty Desk because here's the lab, and up here where you've got different items like the particle and the bond. Up here is what I call the desk. That's what it's actually called in the code. So I settled on fine, call it a desk, call it Dirty Desk. It sounds nice, I guess, above alliteration. And that's why, yeah. So moving on, bunch of just basic setting up stuff, nothing too interesting. This desk X gap, desk Y gap is just the oh crap, it's really lacking it. It's just the gap here, 5, 5, 5. Um, oh, yeah, that's fine. Um, So just some basic stuff, list for orbitals, which I haven't had a chance to use yet. So currently what I've done so far is I've built the core concept of actually placing down and creating bonds and dragging bonds and all that stuff. I haven't actually added any of the chemical reactions yet because I first want to get, um, the core concept, the core mechanics of it, I should say, correct and working. Let's move on to the first sort of thing. We've got buttons. So, so here we have three different colors for the buttons. So, one where it's a gray when it's idle, when you're hovering over it, a nice blue, and then when you press it, a nice, stronger blue, I guess you could say. OBS is really lagging my computer. It's really not the best. Um, and so I have a button class here, and these are my parameters. And so you might be wondering, okay, why am I having these as parameters if I've already got them here? I could either just have them as global variables, or I could just not have them as variables at all. I'll just put them in when I actually create the button. But I'm sort of planning for the future here. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm using this button class not just on the desk, but also here. And of course here, uh, this is the home page. And so I'm going to have buttons here like enter the lab, settings, that sort of stuff. And I doubt I'm going to have the same sort of color pattern. So I thought I might as well just have that as a parameter. It's not going to create much of a hassle for me. I just have it there, and then I won't have to go back and change it later on. Um, and then so yeah, nothing too special about parameters. It's got an ID. I always like having IDs with object classes. I think it makes it easier to work with. So I have it for particles as well. Um, yeah, so just some simple functions to create the actual button rect. This is for deciding the color of it. So it's checking with the ID that if it's the same ID as the button that's been selected, give it a blue color. If it's the same ID as the button that's being hovered over, give it a light blue, and otherwise give it a gray. I mean, I'm just drawing it. Nothing really too special, really just basic code. I really should say though, I'm not a great programmer. I've been coding for the better half of a year. I've been coding. This is like I've coded a lot of programs. Well, the thing is, I'm using the word program really loosely here. I've coded a lot of stuff. I've coded two big things. This included. Um, so I gotta say, I'm not the greatest coder, but you live, you learn. Um, okay. This function is probably not the best, but it's just something that I can to give the actual buttons a purpose. So let me sort of describe what's going on here. So I have two screen types. This is the home screen type. And I've got one button here with the ID of 0. So if I press this button 0, it's setting the screen type to a lab. So this is the lab. Um, and then the same thing on the lab. The button with ID 0 is setting to home. You know. And then let's go through the buttons we have. So button with an ID of 1 is the sort of pointer button. Um, so I can do this. I can drag and create drag boxes, and I can drag things. And then let's go to this is the particle buttons. I can place some particles, and then with this I can sort of drag them around very nicely. Yeah. Uh, and then this is the this is the bond button. Create bonds very nicely. As you can see, obviously, particle like this isn't possible because once again, I've just made the core mechanics. I haven't added actually any actual chemistry yet because I just want to make sure everything is working nice. So I eventually have to add some other stuff to the core mechanics, and then I have to go and work on the actual chemical side of it, which will definitely be more fun because I gotta tell you, creating a drag box like this took way too long. I have to say, it really took way too long. Um, yeah, and then these two buttons are not really, don't really have any purpose. So in the future, I want to be able to click this, and I want it to open up a whole periodic table here where I can select any element I want, and then I can, use it. Um, but there's really a couple problems with that. Number one, creating it isn't going to be that hard. You know, I think I just use a grid system. I haven't done it before, but it shouldn't be that too hard. The main thing is that there's 118 elements. I'm gonna have to draw 118 of these little things. So far I've got hydrogen, and then what I'm doing is I'm pressing a key on my keyboard. Carbon, oxygen, I think I've got lithium, and I got helium. Drawing these, it's not hard to draw. I'm using a text thing, but it still takes time. Um, and so drawing 118 of us is really just, you know, I mean, I suppose I don't have to draw all of them because I don't think I'm even going to add properties of the last, like, 20 elements, because what's their half-life? Like, half a fucking nanosecond? You know, it's no point. But still, that's a lot of elements, even minus that. And just I've done the patience. I could automate it, but I've never done anything of the sort, so I'd have to figure all that out, and I'm just really not bothered. Um, so for now, I'm just pressing a key on my keyboard, and I've got hydrogen, carbon, helium, oxygen, and lithium. Because right now, if you're wondering why the lithium is so big, um, it's not supposed to be that big. I've I've found out that the site that I was using to get my atomic radius is. So let me show you. Um, right, so I'll come back and explain that after this. So we've got particle data here. So every particle is given, I'm giving it a symbol, proton number, neutron number, electronegativity, charge, radius, and a color, because, to distinguish them. And so here, for the past, like, I've been making this program for 3 months, I think. Not 3 months, that's a bit much. Maybe, yeah, probably less. And I've been on and off. So at first, I just added 4 different elements um, just to make sure that it was all working fine. Turns out the site I was getting the atomic radiuses from, I don't think is accurate. To be honest, it's so hard because every site that I've gone to, it has a different number. And they give the atomic number in picometers, so I'm just converting it to with a ratio. I can't actually convert it to pixels because 100 picometers, it doesn't even make a 1 pixel. It's so small. It's like 10 to the power of minus 7. Um, so I'm just using a ratio. I was doing a one over 3. And then I think I found I got suspicious of that site, so I switched to another site which said that lithium was 182, and a third of 182 is pretty big compared to everything else. What's that, like 60? Um, so yeah, I have to decide on a site to use, a reputable site to get my atomic radiuses from, and then decide on a ratio, which is why this is so big. But yeah, it all works. It all works nicely. I can do that if I wanted. Um, yeah, it's nice. Yeah. So that's the. Did I see a bug there? No. Okay. Let's move on. Um, I'll be honest. I don't know what this does. I can't remember. There's a lot of stuff here that I just have to clean up. That isn't that useful, and I can just I can do without it. But I have to go back and do that. Um. Okay. Right. Yeah. So let's go on to the thing I'm doing with the bonds. So here's the bond gap with 3. So what it is here, as you can see, when I'm adding, it's probably not the best example. Um, oh, all right, let's do with hydrogen. Um, So when I'm creating new bonds, it's being evenly spaced out by three. You- This, the process, the function for this is one of the worst pieces of code I've ever written, and to be honest, I don't want to show it. And it took me a really long time, um, and I don't like it. But I'll show it because I'm being humble. Um, it's just a lot of repeated code. I can't. I sort of I have an idea of what's going on. So what's going on, I think, is that when I'm creating a new bond, um, so then it's sort of like it's like a it's like a sequence. So when I'm creating a new bond, that's getting extended up by a certain amount, and then with that bond, so it's creating that one, and then it's going up, and then it's doing double that to go down, and sort of keep on going and keep on going and keep on going if it's an odd number. But if it's an even number, um, so like that, then it's just leaving a gap, going for that one, and then going there, and then it would go there, and then go there for like that. That's what's really going on. But the reason this looks the way it is, I'm pretty sure, is because of I keep on opening OBS because of all the problems I had with the actual moving the bond. If you look closely, you'll see the bond kind of shrinks when it does that. I can fix that. I just don't want to because that requires some maths. I'm good at maths, I think, but to be honest, I'm really not bothered to fix that. It works, you know. I'm not gonna sit here and try and explain it because to be honest, it took me a while to understand it. With the actual problem. So let's just move on. Got a class for the particle. Um, yeah, so we've got a particle dict, which gives us all that information that we need. Yeah, I think it's just nice to have it all here and makes it easy to use. But not many inputted parameters. I don't need that many. But of course, we've got our ID here because I just love giving IDs to things. Um, yeah, there's not much here. Here's just drawing the particle. Here is drawing the charge. As you can see, it's not there because I did this when I first started creating program. As in, like the first couple days, I wanted to add the charge, and I realized, why am I creating all this? Because the core mechanics aren't even built. So it's the same for this. This is broken. This is stupid. It doesn't work. Um, it's calculating the number of bonds that um, each element needs. Each atom, sorry. So hydrogen needs one bond. Um, so not the bonds needed, but the amount of electrons that need to be gained or lost. That's what this is trying. I think I think that's what this is trying to do. Like for example, this is supposed to calculate that 4 needs one bond, but I don't think it does. Okay, let's move on. Um, Bond. You'll notice here I don't have an ID for as a parameter for one of the bonds because you know if I could go back in time, I would give it an ID. But I've built everything around bonds being defined as with their parent particles, so the particles that they're bonded between. In fact, it's too late. The problem is that everything with yes, with bonds like these, they're sibling bonds, is what I'm called. They have the same parent particles, but they need to be separated. And if I just had an ID for them when I started, then I wouldn't have to keep on um, what's it called? Not organizing them, um, positioning them. Yeah, that's the word. Um, it's not that big of a deal though, I suppose. Um, Here's a whole mess that I don't really understand. But when I did this, I understand it. It's when it goes like this, the bonds would overlap each other, which is why it's going like this, because here the bonds are being separated on the x coordinate, here's being separated on the here's separated on y coordinate. So here um, it's deciding on which one to do x or y. So if it's below 45 or greater than or equal to 45 degrees, deciding whether to do separate by x or y. Realistically, I should be doing it by both, and depending on its angle, separated by a different amount. That's the maths I'm talking about. Uh, it doesn't sound too hard, but really, I'm just not bothered to do it because it's all working fine. I don't want to touch it. That's the sort of rule, you know. It's, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, and I'm really not bothered. Functionally draw a bond and to check if two bonds are the same, as in two bonds have the same parameters. Um, Showing that still function to show something is in a box or not. So this I'm using for the drag box, and so the point one is point one, point two are different opposite indexes of the drag box, and the point is usually is the particle. You'll notice that the bond is not actually being highlighted because it's just because it would just be easier that way. Because like this, how would you know if you wanted to separate the bond, if you wanted to select the bond or not? And like this is easier. If the bond is selected here, it doesn't even make any sense for the bond to be selected because then what would the bond would move up and the particle would stay here? It doesn't make any sense. So I just leave it like this. Wow, great. That is yeah, not a good look. I didn't notice that. I don't want to fix that. Okay, I'm gonna have to do something about that, I guess. Yeah, fine. Alright, to be honest, I'll be perfectly honest here. I think I got this off the internet. It's really easy to code. I just easy to get it off somewhere, you know. But everything else is my code, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, which I guess I'm proud of. You know, it's really not great code, but at least it's mine. You know, at least it's shitty code, but it's my shitty code. You know. Um, Lots of whole jumble of lists and stuff. I need to sort it out. The default particle is hydrogen, so when you first, my God, when you first open the program, it's set to hydrogen. Um, oh, I should talk about the isotopes. Yeah. At first, when I thought of making this program, I wanted to have it so that when you open up the periodic table, you could select an element. And then if you selected that element, it would open up a new thing, a sort of like list of the different types the different isotopes of that element, and then you can select the specific isotope you want. The problem with that is that there's so many isotopes. You know, I think there's so many. You know, what is it? Oh, there was something that came out. Yeah, like sodium. It has like seven isotopes, and that's probably on the high end of the spectrum. Maybe. I don't know. But 118 elements plus all their isotopes. I mean, that is just a hassle. But maybe in the future. Um, so right now, I'm naming the actual isotope name, hydrogen one. I think even if I don't add all the isotopes of all the different elements, there's no point of me adding sodium. They made a new one a couple of years ago, like 2 years ago. Like sodium 29 or something. I don't know, 27. That's probably not useful, but having stuff like deuterium and carbon, carbon 14, that might be useful. Uh, yeah, yeah, or like an isotope of calcium that's used to discover uh, what's it called? A lot of new elements. I can't remember what isotope it was. Was it 39 or something? I can't remember. But even if I don't have all the isotopes, having the important ones is a good idea, I suppose. A whole bunch of shit. Um, yeah, let's go on to the actual loop. Yeah, so to be honest, I think if an actual programmer looked at this, wouldn't like it because I'm all putting it in one module. I don't know if they like that or not. Really, I have to say again, I'm not a professional programmer. I'm a student. I'm going into year 11. Probably shouldn't have said that. Oh well. So, I think it's okay for my age, I guess. I have a friend who's like 10 times better, but we move on. Um, okay, so let's get into loops. Um, oh, I made it resizable? I don't remember that. When did I make that? Oh, okay, well, it's not perfect. I don't remember adding that. Oh, that's weird. Oh, okay, so, it's gonna be long. This is gonna be long. This is just checking through the buttons, check through if the button's been clicked. Um, sorry, to check through which button has been clicked, I'm pretty sure. No, 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 yeah. Check if a button has been clicked, and then it's going to execute that purpose, um, given the correct ID. Let's close that, and then let's go into lab interactions. So by lab, I mean this white space here that I'm using to create the particles. I'm calling it the lab. Probably not gonna be white forever. I'm gonna give it a nice design, like a nice simple, maybe like gridded design. I think will be nice, but I don't know. This is just sort of to prevent particles from, oh, for God's sake, particles from being created here. So nothing in here, and prevent particles from being created on top of each other. Oh, oh, I guess that's fine. Yeah, that's. I'm not gonna fix that. That's fine. Um, yeah. So creation on a lab and creation on a desk boundary. So coming into particle creation here, just you know, simple stuff, I think. Um, we'll go into pointer later. I mean after this. Um, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I know I'm not the greatest coder, but I have to say, I'm pretty good with comments. I think my comments are pretty good. A lot of people write comments describing um like the actual function in the code. No, people can read code. Like you don't have to write an if statement. I mean, give a give a comment saying, "Oh, this is saying if this is true, then go on to do that." You don't need that. You need comments to describe what a whole section of a code is aimed to do, the main thing, or like uh, if you have a value or like something really weird that you just need to give insight to. And to be honest, the only reason I'm creating comments here is for myself, because I forget a lot of the code I write. I do. I come back to it like after a month and I realize, and I'm wondering what the fuck is that? I forget it. So I create these comments for myself so I can, find stuff and know what's actually doing. Um, so I don't really have to talk much. I think anyone who's watching, if anyone is, can just read the comments, see what's actually going on. Um, yeah, let's move on to the bane of my existence, the pointer. Um, so this section is fine. This section is for dragging the particle. Um, that shouldn't be there because you can only drag a single particle like this. Um, by the way, if it's laggy for you, the code isn't great, but it is not this laggy. It's because I've got OBS open. Um, yeah. So and then particle. This is really embarrassing. I have one list for particles that are being dragged and one list for particles that are being highlighted because for some reason I was really picky and I decided to make it, oh, when you create this drag box, the particles are highlighted, but technically they're not being dragged, so they can't be considered dragged. I don't know why I did that, and I've ruined it for myself because then I made everything like this, and it's too late to go back. So now I've got two lists with two different purposes that can be achieved in just one list. I don't know why I'm doing that. It's too late. Time times arrow. Never stops marching forward. Got to keep moving. That's cringe. Okay. Um, this took so much time. Not this. I had a whole section of code here that I moved to hit here. Um, oh wait, no. No, 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 forget this is fine. Yeah, forget this. What is this? Um, oh no, this is fine. I think. Yeah, 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 this is fine. This is fine. Okay. I was thinking of something else. Um, okay. Got the mouse motion. Yeah, here we go. So actually dragging the particle. Here it is. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, let me just go back to here. See, even still, I get, I forget what certain parts of it are actually for. Um, where was it? Oh, was it in here? There we go. Okay, so here I'm dragging a singular particle. Um, yeah, uh, I'll be honest. I am not bothered to explain this because it's bad code. Um, and then this, there's less code here. There was a whole thing here that I moved to here because, and it was, I think I redid it. This is not exaggeration. I think I redid it like 6 or 7 times. The code was just so bad, and every time I, I I redid it, but I didn't really redo it. There was this one thing. What is it? This list. Every time I redid it, so I would look at my code and I would have this in it, this list, and then I'd think I don't need that. I redo the list, removing that and changing some things up, and then I realized, oh wait, no, I do need it. So I put it back in and I rearranged everything just to make room for it, not to make room for it, to sort of accompany it, and then I think to myself, oh wait, no, I don't need it. No, I do need it. No, I don't need it. No, I do need it. And now I have it because it is actually useful. I think. Hopefully, this time I don't change it again. You know? Okay, no. And you know what's really annoying? My friend, I was telling him about this problem I was having with Dragbox because this is all involving dragging particles with a Dragbox. Apparently, there's a module out there that just gives you creates a Dragbox for you and works perfectly, and that he once used it. Why couldn't I have known that? Oh, I wish I knew that, and it was too late. I'd already created it. Um, yeah, let's move on to this. So this is also just setting up stuff. Yeah, honestly, you can read the comments if you want, if anyone's interested. I don't think anyone is. This is the thing I was talking about, with all these, and it's still got problems. It's still got a major problem with with um with this list, and I'm not gonna sit here and explain it. Maybe one day, but not today, because my throat hurts from all this talking about and shouting at all my fucking coding problems. Um, yeah, so let me just say quickly, you can read it here. This is for creating the drag box that particles can be dragged again. This is for the drag box where particles are now ready to be dragged and bonds are ready to be bonds will like fall over
the particles when particles are being dragged, and this is for dragging a simple particle, like one that's not attached to anything, one bonded to anything. And if you let go, you can't sort of drag. You can drag it again, but it's not highlighted anymore. As for this, if you move it, it's still highlighted. You can drag it again. You know, unless you press here, and then you have to select it again. But like that, even if it's one particle, you put a drag box around it, so it's fine. Just click here, and it's unhighlighted. I like that feature a lot. I'm happy that, I know I said like, oh, I don't like how was one is for particles and one is for particles highlighted. I don't like that, but I kind of do because it allows for stuff like that. I suppose it could be done in one list, but um, yeah. Right, this stuff, I'll come back to later because it's not done, it's broken. Um, this is just creating the bond and stuff, drawing it, drawing the particle. Um, something to do with the drag box. Oh yeah, creating the desk. So, with the desk, I don't know why I did this. I really don't know. Actually, I think it makes sense. So, um, yeah. So I have a directory called desk icons. Um, I want to show, but I'm gonna have to blur some stuff. Um, oh yeah, it should be fine. Yeah, where is it? So desk icons. So we've got 0 to 5. So back arrow icon, a pointer icon, oh god, I need to stop showing that, man. Ah, okay. An eraser icon, periodic table icon, lots of stuff. And I decided it'd be easier, I thought, if I just put the different things in here with the eraser icon, and I could just add it, and then it would do it itself. Which I guess is sort of easier, but not really. Um, so I think that's what this is doing. So it's taking like number 5, it's putting it at a position 5 and that sort of stuff. So I guess it's alright. If that didn't make any sense to you, it's fine. It doesn't make any sense to me. Okay. Um, that's that for now, apart from this part. I guess I could talk about the home a bit. Well, not really. There's nothing here because I'm not working on it because it's not really that important. All I've got through is one button. Um, yeah. And that's it. So let me talk about what's going on here. So for my final core concept, so I've got dragging bonds, I've got placing them, dragging particles and bonds, placing particles, creating bonds. The last sort of core concept I thought of that's good to have were the last two, an eraser which I haven't even started working on, but shouldn't be too hard, I guess. The last one and the other one is copying and pasting. Now, let me just we'll just show what happens. So we've got our bond here. We'll just create drag bond, drag box. I'm doing Control C, and now let's do Control V. Wow, look at that. Amazing. It works, right? Oh, wow. I'm such a good coder. Let's try dragging it now. What the fuck is going on? What the fuck? Why? 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 It, I, I know why this is happening, but also I don't know. I don't know why this is happening. It's it's got to do with that bonds moving list, and it's a whole mess because it's lists embedded in lists embedded in lists embedded in lists. That's not an exaggeration, literally, because of the whole bond grouping situation that's going on. I need to group them in different embedded lists and all sorts of shit. Um, it's a whole mess. I gotta be honest. So I really have to start fixing that. In fact, there's another problem. If I try and paste it again, I think it crashes. Yeah, it crashes. I don't really know why. Well, I do. Well, I don't, but I don't want to open up the terminal because it shows my directories and stuff. Don't want to show that. Should close that. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much what I've done so far.
probably the next time, I have a big session that I can start coding a lot, I'll record it. I really expect like one bot to watch this video, but I think it'd be nice to have it out there. There's no harm. If no one watches it, there's no harm. Um, yeah,